I thought I had everything. The kind of everything you post about on social media, knowing your friends will hate you a little for it. Successful business, gorgeous husband, that house with the kitchen island everyone covets. I believed it too, until exactly 9:17 p.m. on our 5th wedding anniversary. "You need to see this," Lily whispered, her fingers digging into my forearm as she pulled me away from my own party. The concern in her eyes made my stomach drop before I even knew why. I followed her through the crowd of well-wishers filling our open-concept living room, champagne sloshing in my glass. Todd had gone all out for our anniversary. Caterers, a small jazz quartet, flowers everywhere. He'd even made a toast that had me blinking back tears 10 minutes earlier. "Can't this wait?" I asked, forcing a smile at Clayton as we squeezed past. "We're about to cut the cake." Lily didn't answer, just pulled me into Todd's home office and shut the door. The music became a dull thrum through the walls. "I wasn't snooping," she started, which is exactly what people say when they found something while snooping. "I came in here looking for more napkins where you said they'd be, in the credenza." "And?" My voice sounded normal. Everything was still normal. "I found this instead." She held out her phone, open to a banking app. Todd left his laptop open. This was on the screen. I squinted at the numbers, trying to make sense of them. "I don't understand." "It's a transfer, Heidi, from your business account to some offshore thing. $500,000. The room tilted slightly. "That's impossible. I'd know if that kind of money. There are dozens of transfers. Small enough to fly under the radar, I'm guessing. Going back months." I snatched the phone, scrolling through the transaction history. My throat closed up as the evidence mounted. All those nights Todd had helped with the bookkeeping. All those times he'd assured me everything was fine when I worried about cash flow. "There's more," Lily said, her voice gentler now. "I took screenshots." She swiped to another image, an email thread between Todd and someone named Daisy Ford. My Daisy, my head of sales. The wife doesn't suspect anything. 2 more months and we'll have enough to make the move. "What about the business?" Daisy had replied. "She'll be too busy dealing with the audit to notice we're gone." "Audit? What audit?" "I'm sorry," Lily whispered. "I didn't know how to tell you." The glass slipped from my fingers, red wine spreading across the beige carpet like blood. 5 years of marriage, 8 years together. And all this time, "Heidi," Todd's voice called from the hallway. "Babe, where'd you go? Everyone's waiting." I looked up at Lily, panic rising in my chest. "What do I do?" "Don't let him know that you know," she said quickly. "Not yet. Not until we figure out how much he's taken and what this audit thing is about." The doorknob turned. I kicked the wine glass under the desk and wiped my eyes. Todd appeared, handsome in his tailored suit, that smile I'd fallen for lighting up his face. "There you are. What are you two hiding in here for?" "Girl talk," Lily said smoothly. "I was just telling Heidi about this guy I met." I forced myself to smile, to step forward and slip my arm through his like I'd done thousands of times before. His body felt suddenly unfamiliar against mine. "Sorry, honey. You know how Lily gets when she's crushing on someone." Was my voice steady? Could he tell? I studied his face for any sign that he knew I'd discovered his betrayal, but saw only the same Todd I'd always known. That was the most terrifying part. "Well, crush later. Everyone's waiting for the anniversary cake cutting." He kissed my temple, and I suppressed a shudder. 5 amazing years, right? 5 years of lies. 5 years of him systematically stealing from me while I worked myself to exhaustion building my company. "Right," I echoed, letting him lead me back toward the party, Lily following close behind. As we emerged into the living room, our friends erupted in applause. Todd raised our joined hands triumphantly, playing the role of devoted husband to perfection. The knife waited beside our anniversary cake, 3 tiers of white chocolate and raspberry that I'd specially ordered from his favorite bakery. I looked at the knife, then at Todd's smiling face, then back at the knife. "Speech," someone called out. Todd squeezed my hand, oblivious to the storm raging inside me. "Want me to do it, or you?" I reached for the knife, wrapping my fingers around the handle. "Oh, no," I said, meeting his eyes. "I think it's my turn to cut something." I somehow made it through the rest of the party, smiled for photos, thanked guests for coming, kissed Todd on cue when everyone clinked their glasses. My face ached from the performance. "You okay?" Todd asked as we waved goodbye to the last guests around midnight. "You seem off." I forced another smile. "Just tired. It was a lot to take in." "I know what you mean." He wrapped his arms around me from behind, his chin resting on my shoulder. 5 years. Sometimes I can't believe how lucky I am. The audacity. I wanted to scream, to confront him right there, but Lily's warning echoed in my head. "Don't let him know until you understand what you're dealing with." "I'm going to clean up," I said, pulling away. "Leave it for tomorrow. The cleaning service is coming anyway." He tugged at my hand. "Come to bed." The thought of lying next to him made my skin crawl. "I just need a few minutes to decompress. I'll be up soon." Once he disappeared upstairs, I collapsed onto the couch, my body finally giving in to the trembling it had been suppressing all night. My phone buzzed with a text from Lily. "Call me when you can. I'm worried about you." Instead of calling, I found myself moving through the house collecting evidence. I grabbed Todd's laptop from his office, along with the files he kept in his desk drawer. In the kitchen, I poured myself a large glass of wine and spread everything across the island counter. The laptop was password protected. Of course, I tried our anniversary date, his birthday, my birthday. Nothing worked. After the 5th attempt, I stopped, afraid of triggering a lockout. I turned to the files instead. Most contained ordinary household documents, insurance policies, car maintenance records, warranties. Nothing suspicious. But in a folder labeled Tax Prep, I found something odd. A second set of financial statements for my company with numbers that didn't match the ones I reviewed monthly. The doorbell rang, startling me so badly I knocked over my wine glass. Who would be coming by at 1 a.m.? I peered through the peephole to see Lily standing on my porch, hugging herself against the night chill. "I couldn't sleep," she said when I opened the door. "I kept thinking about your face when you saw those transfers." I pulled her inside quickly. "Todd's upstairs. He thinks I'm cleaning up." "Has he said anything?" "Nothing. He's acting completely normal." I led her to the kitchen, showing her the documents I'd found. "Look at this. These aren't the real numbers for my company." Lily studied the papers, her brow furrowed. "It looks like he's been keeping 2 sets of books. One for you, one for something else." "The audit," I whispered. "He mentioned an audit in those emails. What if he's setting me up to take a fall for tax fraud?" The realization hit me like a physical blow. This wasn't just about stealing money. He was creating a paper trail that would implicate me. "Heidi," Todd's voice called from upstairs. "Who are you talking to?" Lily and I froze, staring at each other in panic. "It's just Lily," I called back, quickly gathering the papers. She forgot her phone. Heavy footsteps on the stairs. I shoved the documents into Lily's purse just as Todd appeared in the kitchen doorway, wearing only his pajama bottoms. "Hey, Lily," he said, seeming genuinely surprised. "Everything okay?" "Sorry to drop by so late," she replied smoothly. "Left my phone somewhere in the chaos. Heidi found it for me." I held up her phone as evidence. She'd actually left it on purpose, anticipating this might happen. Todd yawned. "No problem." "Heidi, are you coming to bed soon?" "In a minute." After he retreated upstairs, Lily gripped my hands. "You need help, professional help." "What, like therapy?" I almost laughed. "No, like someone who knows how to handle financial fraud. I have a friend, Warren. He's a private investigator who specializes in this kind of thing." "A private investigator? Isn't that a bit extreme?" Lily's expression hardened. "He's stealing your money and setting you up to take the blame for his crimes. How much more extreme does it need to get?" She was right. The Todd I thought I knew, the man who supported my dreams, who celebrated my success, was a fiction. The real Todd was systematically destroying everything I'd built. "Okay," I said, my voice steadier than I expected. "Set up a meeting." After Lily left, I stood in our kitchen, surrounded by the remnants of our anniversary celebration. 5 years of what I thought was love, reduced to a criminal conspiracy. I climbed the stairs slowly, each step requiring deliberate effort. Todd was already asleep, his breathing deep and even. I slipped into bed beside him, keeping to the edge of the mattress. Tomorrow I'd meet with Warren. Tomorrow I'd begin to understand the full scope of Todd's betrayal. Tomorrow I'd start planning how to save myself. But tonight, I lay awake beside the stranger I'd married, plotting my first move in a game I never wanted to play. I met Warren at a coffee shop 15 miles from my house, far enough that I wouldn't run into anyone I knew. He didn't look like a private investigator, no trench coat, no world-weary expression, just a middle-aged man in a sensible blazer with kind eyes and a firm handshake. "Lily filled me in on the basics," he said after we'd settled at a corner table. "But I need to hear everything from you." I'd barely slept, spending the night rehearsing what to say to Todd in the morning. I'd settled on a half-truth, a supplier emergency requiring my immediate attention. He'd kissed me goodbye without a hint of suspicion. "My husband is stealing from my company," I said, the words still feeling surreal. "And I think he's setting me up to take the blame for tax fraud." Warren didn't react with shock or pity. He simply nodded and took out a small notebook. "Walk me through what you found so far." I showed him the screenshots Lily had taken, described the falsified financial statements, explained the references to an audit. With each detail, the knot in my stomach tightened. "How much do you think he's taken?" Warren asked. "I don't know exactly. The transfers Lily found total around $500,000, but there could be more." Warren whistled softly. "And your company, how's it doing financially?" "We're profitable, growing steadily." I twisted my wedding ring, a nervous habit I suddenly couldn't stand. I slipped it off and dropped it into my purse. At least I thought we were. "Who handles your accounting?" "I have a bookkeeper, Esme. She's young but brilliant. Todd. He reviews everything before it goes to our accountant." My voice caught. I trusted him. Warren's expression softened. "That's not your fault, Heidi. People like your husband count on that trust." "People like my husband," I repeated. The phrase felt like a slap. "What do we do now?" "First, we need to understand the full extent of what he's done. I'll need access to your business records, bank statements, tax filings, everything." My phone buzzed with a text from Daisy. "Need to discuss Q3 projections. Lunch today?" Daisy, Todd's accomplice, my supposed friend and colleague. I showed Warren the message. "She's working with him. I saw the emails." "This could be an opportunity," Warren said, leaning forward. "Meet with her. Act normal. See what information you can get. You want me to spy on her? I want you to protect yourself. Right now, information is your best defense." I agreed to meet Daisy at 1 p.m., then spent the next hour giving Warren every password, account number, and business detail I could remember. By the time we finished, I felt hollowed out. "One more thing," Warren said as we prepared to leave. "Don't confront Todd yet. People get desperate when cornered, and desperate people make dangerous choices." The warning sent a chill through me. I'd known Todd for 8 years, married him, built a life with him. Was Warren suggesting he might hurt me? "I need to get to my office," I said, suddenly needing to be somewhere familiar, somewhere that still felt like mine. The fashion design studio that served as headquarters for my company had always been my sanctuary. Today, it felt like enemy territory. Who else was involved in Todd's scheme? Who could I trust? Esme looked up from her computer as I entered. "Morning, Heidi. I wasn't expecting you today." Esme had joined the company 3 years ago as an intern and quickly proved herself indispensable. At 28, she managed our books with meticulous attention to detail. If the numbers were being manipulated, wouldn't she have noticed? "Just catching up on some things," I said, trying to sound casual. How are the new collection numbers looking? Strong. The fall line is already generating pre-orders. She hesitated. Actually, I've been meaning to talk to you about something. My guard immediately went up. What is it? Some of the financial reports seem off. Nothing major, just discrepancies I can't reconcile. She lowered her voice. I tried mentioning it to Todd last week when he came by, but he said not to worry about it. My heart raced. Todd was here. He doesn't usually visit the office. He said he was surprising you with lunch, but you were in a meeting. He asked to use your computer to check some numbers. Esme looked uncomfortable. I should have told you sooner. I fought to keep my expression neutral. It's fine. What kind of discrepancies did you notice? Expense allocations that don't match our actual spending. Vendor payments to companies I can't verify. She pulled up a spreadsheet. Like this one, 3 payments to Meridian Consulting. I can't find any record of services they provided. Meridian Consulting. The name meant nothing to me, but the payments totaled $75,000. Thank you for showing me this, I said, my mind racing. Let's keep this between us for now, okay? I need to look into it further. Esme nodded, relief visible on her face. I was worried I was overstepping. Never. This is exactly what I need to know. As I headed to my office, my phone buzzed with another text, from Todd this time. Hope your day's going better. Dinner tonight? I have news to share. News. What news could he possibly have that wasn't another lie? I texted back, looking forward to it. The ease with which I could now lie to him surprised me, but then I'd had an excellent teacher. Lunch with Daisy felt like the strangest performance of my life. We sat at our usual spot, a bistro 2 blocks from the office, while I pretended I didn't know she was helping my husband steal from me. The anniversary party looked amazing, Daisy said, spreading her napkin across her lap. Todd really outdid himself. I took a sip of water to steady myself. He's full of surprises. Speaking of surprises, she continued, I've been running some numbers on the expansion plan. I think we should accelerate the timeline. The expansion plan had been my dream for years, opening 3 new boutiques in key markets. Todd had always encouraged it, but now I understood why. More locations meant more money flowing through the business, more opportunities to siphon funds. I'm not sure that's wise, I said carefully. The current economic climate is perfect, Daisy interrupted. Interest rates are low, and our brand recognition has never been higher. She pulled out a folder. I've already drafted a proposal for the board. I stared at her, this woman I'd trusted with my business secrets for years. How long had she been working against me? What was her angle? That's very proactive of you, I managed. Todd thought so too. He's been incredibly helpful with the financial projections. Of course he had. I forced a smile. You've been talking to Todd about this? Just getting his input. He has such a good head for business. She tilted her head. Is that a problem? No, not at all. I just like to be kept in the loop. Daisy's phone buzzed. She glanced at it, then quickly turned it face down. Sorry about that. Was she texting Todd right now? Updating him on our conversation? The thought made me feel physically ill. Actually, I said, seizing an opportunity, I noticed some unusual payments to a company called Meridian Consulting. Do you know anything about that? The briefest flicker of something, alarm, guilt, crossed Daisy's face before her professional mask slipped back into place. Meridian, I believe they helped with market research for the expansion. Todd handled that contract. A lie. I'd run every market research project personally. Right, of course, I said. I must have forgotten. The rest of lunch passed in a blur of small talk and business discussions that now felt hollow. When we parted ways outside the restaurant, Daisy hugged me like always. We're going to do great things together, she said. I wondered if she meant her and me, or her and Todd. Back at the office, I shut my door and called Warren. Meridian Consulting, I said without preamble. I need to know everything about them. I'm already on it, Warren replied. Esme sent me the payment records this morning. I froze. Esme contacted you. How does she even have your number? I reached out to her after our meeting. You mentioned she handled the books, so I figured she'd be a valuable resource. You went behind my back? My voice rose despite my efforts to stay calm. I'm trying to help you, Heidi. We need all the information we can get as quickly as possible. I pressed my fingers to my temples, feeling a headache forming. You should have asked me first. Would you have said yes? The question hung between us. Would I have, or would I have hesitated, worried about involving another person, expanding the circle of those who knew how thoroughly I'd been deceived? That's not the point, I said finally. The point is, Esme already suspected something was wrong. She's been documenting discrepancies for months. She's on your side. I thought about Esme's relief when I hadn't dismissed her concerns. Had she been carrying this burden alone, afraid to speak up? Fine, I conceded. What did you find out about Meridian? It's a shell company, registered 6 months ago to a P.O. box. No website, no employees, no actual consulting services. Let me guess, Todd's name is on the paperwork? No, it's registered to someone named Clayton Mitchell. Clayton. My stomach dropped. Clayton had been friends with Todd since college. He'd been at our wedding, at our anniversary party just days ago. I'd always liked him. That can't be right, I whispered. I'm sending you the documentation now. My email pinged. There it was, Clayton's name on the incorporation papers for a company that existed solely to funnel my money into someone else's pocket. There's something else, Warren continued. Esme found emails between Todd and Clayton discussing a property purchase, a beachfront villa in a non-extradition country. The room seemed to tilt. They're planning to run. It looks that way. And soon. I thought of Todd's text. I have news to share. Was tonight when he planned to spring some new lie on me, some story to explain why we suddenly needed to take a vacation to a country that wouldn't send him back to face charges. What do? I asked, hating how small my voice sounded. We accelerate our timeline. I've already spoken with a forensic accountant. She can start tomorrow if you authorize it. Do it, I said without hesitation. And tonight, with Todd. I'll play along. Make him think everything's normal. After hanging up, I sat at my desk, staring at the framed photo of Todd and me from our honeymoon. We looked so happy, so in love. Had it all been an act? Or had he loved me once, before greed took over? I removed the photo from its frame and tore it in half, separating his image from mine. It felt childish, but also necessary, a physical representation of what was happening to my life. My phone buzzed with a text from Todd. Made reservations at Luciano's for 7. Wear that blue dress I love, giving me instructions, always controlling the narrative. I texted back, perfect, can't wait to hear your news. This time, the lie came easily. The blue dress hung on the back of my office door, like a costume for a role I no longer wanted to play. Todd's favorite, fitted, low cut, the color he said made my eyes pop. I'd worn it countless times to please him. Tonight, it felt like armor. I applied makeup carefully, covering the shadows under my eyes, evidence of sleepless nights. My phone buzzed with a text from Lily. You don't have to do this. Stay with me tonight instead. But I did have to do this. I needed to know what Todd was planning. Luciano's was where we'd had our first date. The hostess greeted me by name, leading me to our table by the window. Todd was already there, standing when he saw me approach. You look beautiful, he said, kissing my cheek. I smiled, wondering if he could feel how rigid my body had become at his touch. Thanks for arranging this. It's been a while since we've had a date night. Too long. He pulled out my chair. I ordered that Barolo you love. The wine arrived, deep red and expensive. I sipped slowly, needing to keep my wits about me. So, I said, you mentioned you had news? Todd's face lit up with what looked like genuine excitement. I've been working on something big. A surprise. My heart raced. Was this it? The lead-up to his escape plan? I know how hard you've been working, he continued, how much the business means to you, and I think I've found the perfect opportunity to take it to the next level. The waiter interrupted to take our order. Todd ordered for both of us without asking what I wanted, a habit I'd once found charming. What kind of opportunity? I asked when we were alone again. An investor? Someone willing to put serious capital into your expansion plans? He leaned forward. We're talking 8 figures, Heidi, enough to open not just 3 new locations, but 10. I nearly choked on my wine. 10? That's not the plan. Plans change. This is huge. His eyes gleamed. I've been working on this deal for months. Didn't want to say anything until it was solid. Months. The same time frame as the mysterious transfers. Was this investor real, or just another fiction? Who is this investor? I asked. His name is James Westfield, made his fortune in tech, looking to diversify. Todd reached for my hand across the table. He wants to meet you next week. I've already set everything up. A meeting that would never happen, because Todd would be gone by then, taking my money with him. That's incredible, I managed. How did you connect with him? Clayton introduced us. They go way back. Clayton again. The pieces were falling into place. Speaking of Clayton, I said carefully, I ran into him today. He mentioned something about a consulting company. Todd's expression didn't change, but his hand twitched slightly in mine. Oh? Meridian Consulting. He said you might know something about it. A beat of silence. Todd withdrew his hand to reach for his wine glass. They did some market analysis for us a while back. Small firm, but good work. The lie slid out so smoothly. Had he always been this good at deception, or had I just never noticed? Funny, I don't remember approving that contract. It was during that crazy period when you were finalizing the spring collection. I handled it so you wouldn't have to worry. He smiled. That's what partners do, right? Share the load. The food arrived. Seafood risotto for him, salmon for me. I pushed mine around the plate, stomach too knotted to eat. You're quiet tonight, Todd observed. Everything okay? I met his gaze. Just thinking about the future. How quickly things can change. Change is good, especially when it means growth. He reached across the table again, squeezing my hand. Trust me, this investment is going to change our lives. At least he wasn't lying about that. I do have one concern, I said. The business is growing so fast. I worry about losing control. That's natural, but you can't do everything yourself forever. His thumb stroked my wrist. Sometimes you have to delegate, let others handle the details. Like the financial details he'd been handling for months. You're right, I said, forcing a smile. I need to learn to let go. Todd raised his glass. To new beginnings. I clinked my glass against his, the sound sharp in my ears. To getting what we deserve. I called Warren from my car after dinner, hands shaking so badly I could barely dial. It's happening, I said when he answered. The investor story, Clayton's involvement, it's all part of their exit strategy. Did he mention when this supposed meeting is happening? Next week, but I don't think they're planning to stick around that long. I swallowed hard. There was something in his eyes tonight, Warren, a finality, like he was saying goodbye without actually saying it. Where are you now? Parking outside our house. Todd's meeting Clayton for drinks. Good, I need you to do something while he's gone. Warren's voice was steady, grounding. Check his office again, look for travel documents, confirmation emails, anything that might tell us when they're planning to leave. And if I find something, then we move now, tonight. I ended the call and sat in the darkness, watching the house I'd once loved, the home we'd built together. Had any of it been real? My phone lit up with a text from Esme. Found something big. Need to talk ASAP. Whatever Todd was planning, it was happening fast, and I was running out of time to stop him. I met Esme at an all-night diner 30 minutes from my house, a place where neither Todd nor anyone else from our circles would accidentally spot us. She was already there when I arrived, hunched over her laptop, dark circles under her eyes. "Thanks for coming," I said, sliding into the booth across from her. "I wouldn't have texted if it wasn't important." She turned her laptop toward me. "I've been digging through our cloud storage backups, found these emails that Todd deleted from the server." The screen showed an exchange between Todd and Daisy from just that morning. "Everything's set for Friday. Tickets confirmed. Clayton has the documents ready. Friday, 2 days from now." "What about H?" Still suspicious, clueless as ever, too busy with her precious designs to notice what's happening right under her nose. By the time she figures it out, we'll be long gone. My hands curled into fists, clueless. The contempt in those words burned through me. "There's more," Esme said quietly. "Financial projections for the company after you're gone. They're planning to liquidate everything, Heidi. Sell off the inventory, the equipment, the intellectual property, even the building, my life's work. Everything I'd built from nothing, reduced to numbers on a spreadsheet." "How long have you known something was wrong?" I asked. Esme looked down. "I started noticing discrepancies about 4 months ago. Small things at first, expense reports that didn't match receipts, invoices for services we never received. I thought they were mistakes." "Why didn't you come to me sooner?" I tried in my way, but Todd always intercepted. "Said you were too busy, that he'd handle it." She met my eyes. "And then he offered me a promotion, more money, more responsibility. I think he was trying to buy my silence." "Did it work?" "I took the promotion," she admitted, "but I also started keeping records. I knew something wasn't right." The waitress came by with coffee. We fell silent until she left. "What are you going to do?" Esme asked. What could I do? In 2 days, Todd would be gone, along with my money and any chance of justice. "I'm going to stop him," I said with more confidence than I felt. Todd was asleep when I got home, his breathing deep and even. I stood in the doorway of our bedroom, watching him. How many nights had I lain beside him, feeling safe, protected, loved? All while he plotted to destroy me. I slipped into his office, closing the door silently behind me. The room smelled of his cologne and the leather of his desk chair. I'd always loved this smell. Now it made me nauseous. I started with his desk drawers, then moved to the filing cabinet. Nothing unusual, no plane tickets, no incriminating documents. Todd was too smart for that. His laptop sat on the desk, closed. I opened it, heart pounding, still password protected. I tried a few more combinations, his parents' names, his childhood street, before remembering something. For his birthday last year, I'd given him a vintage watch. He'd been obsessed with it, even had the serial number engraved on the back. I typed in the number. The screen unlocked. For the next hour, I combed through his emails, documents, browser history. Most were innocuous, but in a folder labeled Investment Opportunities, I found what I was looking for. Confirmation of first-class tickets to Bali. One way. Departing Friday afternoon. Not just for Todd, but for Daisy too. My hands shook as I took photos of the screen with my phone. Not just business partners then. The betrayal cut deeper than I'd expected. I was about to close the laptop when a new email notification appeared. From Clayton, sent just minutes ago. Change of plans. Audit flags raised. Need to move timeline up. Details in mourning. Audit flags. Someone had noticed the financial irregularities. The authorities might already be involved. I quickly forwarded the email to myself, then closed the laptop exactly as I'd found it. As I turned to leave, the office door opened. Todd stood there, sleep-rumpled and confused. "Heidi, what are you doing in here?" My mind raced. Looking for aspirin. Couldn't sleep. "In my office. I didn't want to wake you by turning on the bathroom light." I moved toward the door. "Sorry, I'll look somewhere else." He blocked my path. "You were on my computer." "What? No, It's still warm." His voice hardened. "What were you looking for?" "Nothing. I told you. I just..." "Stop lying." He grabbed my arm. What do you know? The mask had slipped. This wasn't the charming, supportive Todd I'd married. This was the real Todd. Cold, calculating, dangerous. Let go of me, I said quietly. Not until you tell me what you're doing. I know about the money, Todd. The transfers. Meridian Consulting. All of it. His grip tightened. You don't know what you're talking about. I know about Daisy, the tickets to Bali, your plans to liquidate my company. Something flashed in his eyes, surprise, then anger. Who have you told? Everyone. It was a bluff, but a calculated one. Lawyers, accountants, the police. Did you really think I wouldn't notice $500,000 missing from my accounts? He released my arm, taking a step back. You're making a mistake. The mistake was trusting you. I moved past him toward the door. I want you out of my house, tonight. This is my house too. Not for long. I turned to face him. You have 1 hour to pack your things. After that, I'm calling the police. Todd's laugh was cold. With what evidence? You think anyone will believe you over me? I've covered my tracks, Heidi. Every transfer, every document, it all has your digital signature. The realization hit me like a physical blow. He hadn't just been stealing from me. He'd been framing me. 1 hour, I repeated, my voice steadier than I felt. Or I release everything I have to the press. How do you think your investor friends will react to that? As I walked away, my phone buzzed with a text from Warren. Don't confront him alone. Wait for me. Too late for that. The game had changed. And now there was no turning back. I locked myself in the guest bathroom, hands trembling as I called Warren. He knows, I whispered. I confronted him. He's threatening to frame me. Where are you now? Warren's voice was tight with concern. Still at the house. I told him to leave, but a crash from downstairs cut me off. He's destroying things. Get out of there. Now. I'm 20 minutes away. Another crash, followed by Todd's voice too close. Heidi, we're not finished. I don't think I have 20 minutes, I said, my voice barely audible. Is there somewhere safe you can go until I get there? I thought quickly. Lily's place. It's 5 minutes away. Go, I'll meet you there. I ended the call and texted Lily. Emergency. Coming over. Todd knows. Her response was immediate. Doors unlocked. Come straight in. I crept to the bathroom window. It was small, but I could fit through. The drop to the ground wasn't far. As I pushed it open, Todd's footsteps thundered up the stairs. Hiding won't help, he shouted. You've ruined everything. I squeezed through the window, scraping my hip on the frame, and dropped to the ground. Pain shot through my ankle, but I forced myself to run, car keys clutched in my hand. My car was parked on the street. I slid behind the wheel, started the engine, and peeled away just as Todd burst out the front door. Lily was waiting at her door when I arrived, pulling me inside and locking the deadbolt behind us. Are you hurt? She asked, noticing my limp. Just twisted my ankle. I'm fine. I wasn't fine. Nothing was fine. I called the police, she said, leading me to her couch. They're sending someone. I sank onto the cushions, the adrenaline that had carried me here beginning to fade. He's going to say I'm crazy, that I'm the one stealing money. Let him try. Lily handed me a glass of water. Warren called. He's bringing evidence. What evidence? I don't know exactly. He just said it was enough. I took a shaky sip of water. Todd said every transfer has my digital signature. How am I supposed to fight that? Lily sat beside me. By being smarter than him, which you are. A knock at the door made us both jump. Lily checked the peephole, then opened it to admit Warren, carrying a laptop and a thick folder. Are you all right? He asked me. No, I answered honestly, but I'm here. Warren set his materials on the coffee table. I've been building a case, tracking the money, documenting the timeline, but we need to move fast. The tickets to Bali, they're for tomorrow, not Friday. What? But the email said, misdirection, in case you were watching. They're flying out tomorrow afternoon. My stomach dropped. Then it's over. They'll be gone. Not if we act now. Warren opened his laptop. I've arranged a meeting for tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. With who? James Westfield. I stared at him. The investor, he's not real. No, but Todd doesn't know that we know that. Warren smiled grimly. I have a colleague who's going to play the part. Todd thinks he's meeting his fictional investor. Instead, he'll be walking into a trap. Another knock at the door, more insistent this time. Lily checked the peephole again. Police, she said, opening the door. 2 officers entered, a man and a woman. The woman spoke first. We received a call about a domestic disturbance. My husband threatened me, I said. I had to escape through a window. The male officer took notes while I explained the situation, the stolen money, the threats, the evidence of Todd's plan to flee the country. Has he physically harmed you? The female officer asked. He grabbed my arm, hard enough to leave bruises. I pushed up my sleeve to show the red marks. We'll need to take a statement, she said, and photographs of those bruises. As they documented my injuries, my phone buzzed repeatedly with texts from Todd. You're making a terrible mistake. I can explain everything. Come home and we'll talk this through. Then, more ominously, you have no idea what you've started. I showed the messages to the officers. He's escalating. We can escort you back to collect some belongings, the female officer offered, and file for an emergency restraining order. Thank you, but I'm not going back there tonight. I looked at Warren. We need to prepare for tomorrow. After the police left, Warren outlined his plan. The fake investor meeting, the evidence we'd present, the trap we'd set. What if he doesn't show? I asked. He will, Warren assured me. The prospect of one last score before he disappears, he won't be able to resist. And Daisy, Clayton, they'll be there too. All the players in one room. I thought about Todd's face when I confronted him. The cold anger, the contempt. He'd never loved me. I'd been nothing but a means to an end. I want to be there, I said, face to face. Warren hesitated. It could get ugly. It's already ugly. I met his gaze steadily. This is my life he tried to destroy, my company. I need to look him in the eye when it all falls apart. Lily squeezed my hand. Are you sure? No, I wasn't sure. I was terrified. But beneath the fear was something stronger, a determination I hadn't known I possessed. Tomorrow morning, I said, 9 a.m. I'll be ready. The conference room at Warren's office was deliberately intimidating, all glass and steel, with recording equipment visible in the corners. I sat at the head of the table, dressed in my most powerful outfit, a folder of evidence in front of me. Warren stood nearby, speaking quietly into his phone. They've arrived, bringing them up now. My heart hammered against my ribs. In moments, I would face the man who had betrayed me in every possible way, the woman who had helped him, the friend who had chosen the wrong side. Are you ready? Warren asked. I thought about all I had lost, and all I still had to fight for. I'm ready. The door opened. Todd entered first, his confident smile faltering when he saw me. Behind him came Daisy, then Clayton, the 3 people I had trusted most in the world. What is this? Todd demanded. Where's Westfield? I stood, steadier than I'd felt in days. There is no Westfield, Todd. There never was. His eyes narrowed. What are you talking about? I think it's time we all told the truth, I said. Don't you? The silence in the conference room felt electric. Todd recovered first, his smile returning. That same charming, confident smile that had once made me feel special. Heidi, sweetheart, this is ridiculous. He turned to Warren. I don't know what she's told you, but my wife has been under tremendous stress lately. Her business is doing exceptionally well, I interrupted, despite your best efforts to drain it dry. I opened the folder in front of me, sliding documents across the table one by one. Transfers to offshore accounts, falsified financial statements, emails between the 3 of you planning your escape. I looked at each of them in turn. Did I miss anything? Clayton shifted uncomfortably. Todd, what is she talking about? She's making this up, Todd insisted. Clayton, you know me. Would I do something like this? Like register a fake consulting company to funnel money through? I pushed another document forward. Meridian Consulting's incorporation papers with Clayton's signature. Or book one-way tickets to Bali for you and Daisy. Daisy's face drained of color. Tickets for both of us? Interesting. She hadn't known about that part. First class, I confirmed. Very romantic. Todd's composure slipped. This is absurd. I want my lawyer. Excellent idea, Warren said, speaking for the first time. In fact, I've taken the liberty of contacting the authorities. They're very interested in speaking with all of you. Clayton stood abruptly. I had nothing to do with this. Todd asked me to sign some papers for a business venture. That's all. Sit down, Clayton, Todd snapped. She's bluffing. There's no evidence. I pulled out my final document, a report from the forensic accountant Warren had hired. Every transaction, every email, every falsified document, it's all here, including the ones with my forged signature. Todd's eyes darted toward the door. This is a waste of time. I'm leaving. I wouldn't, Warren said mildly. There are federal agents in the lobby. Todd froze. For the first time, real fear crossed his face. You can't prove anything, he said, but his voice lacked conviction. Actually, I can. I nodded to Warren, who pressed a button on his phone. Todd's voice filled the room. Every transfer, every document, it all has your digital signature. My own voice followed. 1 hour, or I release everything I have to the press. The recording continued, capturing every damning word from our confrontation the night before. You recorded me? Todd's face contorted with rage. That's illegal. Not in our state, Warren replied. Single-party consent. Daisy stood, her professional mask crumbling. I want immunity. I'll testify against both of them. Daisy? Todd looked betrayed. What are you doing? Saving myself. She turned to me. It was his idea, all of it. He said you'd never notice, that you were too trusting. That's enough, Clayton interrupted. No one say another word until we have legal representation. Too late. The door opened, and 2 agents entered, followed by a woman in a business suit who introduced herself as a prosecutor with the Financial Crimes Division. What followed was a blur of legal terms and procedures, statements taken, rights read. Todd, Daisy, and Clayton led away separately for questioning. Through it all, I sat perfectly still, watching the life I thought I had dissolved before my eyes. Hours later, I stood alone in the empty conference room, staring out at the city below. Warren entered quietly, closing the door behind him. They're being processed now, he said. The prosecutor is confident they have enough for an indictment. I nodded, still looking out the window. What happens to my company? It's yours, Heidi. It always was. The forensic accountant has already begun untangling the financial mess. You'll need to work closely with her, but your business will survive this. And the money they took? Some can be recovered, not all of it. He paused. I'm sorry. I turned to face him. Don't be. Money can be replaced. What will you do now? The question hung in the air. What would I do? The future I'd planned, the life I'd built with Todd, was gone. Yet standing here, I felt lighter than I had in months, maybe years. First, I'm going to change the locks, I said. Then, I'm going to call Esme and offer her that promotion for real. Warren smiled. And after that? I don't know yet. I gathered my things, suddenly eager to leave this room, this building, this chapter behind. But for the first time in a long time, I get to decide. The house felt different when I returned, emptier, but somehow less hollow. I moved through the rooms, reclaiming each space. In Todd's office, I found a framed photo of us I'd missed before, taken on our honeymoon. I studied his face, searching for signs of the deception to come. There were none, or perhaps I simply hadn't wanted to see them. My phone rang, Lily checking in. How are you holding up? I'm okay, I said, surprised to find it was true. Actually, I'm thinking about redecorating. Bold move. What did you have in mind? I looked around at the house Todd had largely designed, with its neutral colors and minimalist aesthetic, nothing that truly reflected me. Everything, I said. I'm changing everything. After we hung up, I wandered into the kitchen where it had all begun, where Lily had shown me those first damning transfers on our anniversary night. The remnants of the party had been cleared away, but a single champagne flute remained on the counter, forgotten. I picked it up, turning it in my hands. 5 years of marriage, 8 years together, a lifetime of memories, now tainted. With deliberate care, I placed the glass in the sink. Then I opened a drawer, pulled out a notepad, and began to write. Not a list of what I'd lost, but of what came next. At the top, I wrote, things that are actually mine. The business, this house, my designs, my future, and most importantly, the truth. No one could take that from me again.